What's going on?
Not much.
Congratulations on joining the team.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Thank you for having me.
Of course. This is our first thing. This is gonna become a new thing. I thought about right when we brought you on. I was like, I just started doing podcasts with everyone that's on board.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, that's
that
our
would
new
be
thing.
Nice.
Yeah.
Oh,
So why don't you
thanks.
tell people who you are?
I am Jennifer Benitez. I've been in real estate for over 10 years now, but I've been in the industry longer than that. I've been in the industry since 2001, and I started in the mortgage industry. So that's technically like my superpower.
Is mortgages?
Not so much as mortgages, but the knowledge of mortgages so that I can help my clients.
Then you can help your buyers. Is that why you think you lean more buy side?
Probably.
Because you're more like used to that?
Yeah,
Okay.
probably.
So what made you transition from being a mortgage to an agent?
Just by chance.
Oh, really?
When I got my real estate license in 2010, that's when we moved to NMLS.
Okay.
And I had my daughter at that time. She was a toddler, and I didn't have the time to spend on getting my NMLS. And I'm like, well, I'm gonna be a real estate agent.
Oh, yeah. So then you just made the transition over?
Yeah.
What is something about doing loans that you miss?
I don't really.
No?
No.
Oh, okay.
I mean, it's actually gotten out of my system. It's just really more helping clients.
Got it. Yeah, it's funny. My lender, Taylor, he always talks about, like, he says something or people ask him, he's like, if I was doing that, I'd be a realtor. He's like, I'm a loan officer. This is what we do, and that's what you do. And you know what I mean? He's like, I would not. It's funny, like, most loan officers don't want to be agents.
Yes.
And I don't think I'd ever want to be a loan officer.
Yes.
Like,
True.
I just don't think I would do well with that. You know what I mean? Just sitting in an office all day. And,
Oh, yeah, that's
you
right.
know,
Yeah.
not having that kind of like the more of the freedom to get going and out
That
and stuff
is
like
true.
that. This show is sponsored by Resilience Realty Group, powered by EXP. So, you're thinking about buying and selling soon? Yes, we know you probably know a realtor, your mom's best friend's cousin's neighbor who puts her face on the local shopping cart. But you know what? Our friends at Resilience Real Estate Group have helped hundreds of thousands of people sell houses over the years, and they definitely know what they're doing based on their 5-star review on Google and Zillow. So it doesn't matter if you're looking to buy $1 million house or a fixer-upper, make sure the next time you're thinking about buying and selling real estate, you give our friends a call over at Resilient Real Estate Group. And now we're back to the show. So what made you get into loans in the first place?
By chance also. So I was younger at that time, and so a friend of mine said, hey, why don't you do this? Why don't you become a loan processor? I'm like, loan processor? Awesome.
Yeah.
And I had no clue what it was, and started the last day of the month, like the end of the month. And, you know, for the lending side, that's huge. For us realtors, not really.
Yeah, we don't really
thing.
care. Yeah.
I'm like, I don't care. But that's when I started. So.
And then, so you went through the whole like crazy early 2000 market.
So right before 9/11.
Oh, okay.
So interest rates at that time were like hovering anywhere between 5 to 7%, depending on which loan you were getting. And it was majority FHA loans before, and so that's where I got started. So it was either you were an A buyer, what we called an A+ buyer, or subpar. So like you would get the 7%. That was the norm, and then 9/11 hit. So
why don't you tell people, like, obviously I was a freshman in high school when 9/11 happened. So what do you mean 9/11 happened? What does that mean?
So when 9/11 hit, for us in the mortgage industry, things changed drastically. Interest rates changed. So you're thinking, oh my God, 5 to 7%. That's where I started, and it was even lower than that. And then they also came out with different products that we didn't have, or mortgage programs, I guess you should say, that we didn't have prior to 9/11, and they were more. They became more of the norm. They were like touting it to the masses, I guess. Whereas before they were technically there and available. It's just not like the consumers didn't really know about them. But yeah. So
why do you think 9/11? Why do you use that as a
benchmark?
Yeah.
Because that's literally when it changed for us in terms of like interest rates.
Did they do that to kind of? I remember like the one thing I do remember, like President Bush at the time would be like, go out and spend money, like go help grow the economy. Was that kind of why you think it like?
They probably because they needed to suppress the interest rates at that time, and they really need to stimulate the economy at that time.
Well, and we just came off the .com burst, so we were probably maybe already in trouble anyway.
Yeah, and so then 2001 and on, right? Everybody was refinancing. Everybody was purchasing. I remember because I came from Orange County. And so Corona was like, when you passed Anaheim Hills or Yorba Linda, right? You get into Corona and Riverside County, and we're like, oh my God, Riverside County. Oh no. So then, but people were migrating there because of affordability.
Yeah.
But also the mortgage programs that came out around that time made it even more affordable for people. So people were just like migrating towards, Riverside County or Inland Empire in masses around that time. So then like Corona, Eastvale used to be Corona.
I know. That's the thing that people don't realize. It's like Corona. There used to not be Eastville. It used to be Norco and then Ontario. There was farmland. Like it was just cows.
Yeah.
There was no Eastville. Like that's always I laugh when people with agents, I'm like they're in like Eastville, Murrieta, Temecula, whatever. They're like, oh, but I'm like, dude, your town's been around for 25 years. Like I'm in Riverside. We've been around since like the early 1900s, right? Like the building we're in right now was built in 1902 or something like that. It's like I know generational realtor families. Like my great grandmother was, my grandma, blah blah. And so it's like what people don't realize, like the boom in the early 2000s. I mean, I grew up in Orange Crest, so I remember like out of nowhere, like all the orange groves just like being torn down, building houses, being torn down, building, and like I don't remember pricing at the time, but like I think like things were like mid fives, like mid 600,000s when my parents bought their house in '90 for like 117. I think my parents bought their house for. The house actually just sold for 675. It's crazy, but like. I mean, we used to sell massive early 2000s. Like, I mean, I went to King and like, I remember like there was only orange groves around King. And as I became a freshman, then a sophomore, and then a junior, and by the time I was a senior in 2005, like they were all houses. All the orange groves were gone, all houses.
We bought in Orange Crest near King, 2006.
Oh.
It was by Centex.
Okay.
That was the builder. And then when we got it, so we got it in September. We closed in end of September. Right after that, it crashed for that specific neighborhood.
That neighborhood, yes.
Like literally.
Dude, that neighborhood was, I think there was also other factors too. One, they massively overbuilt in Orange Crest a lot. Two, I remember like everyone had lifted trucks, trailers, and boats. Like I remember that. Like every house had a trailer on the side of it, a boat on the side of it, and a huge brand new truck. Like it was like insane. Yeah. Like how like loaded up people were, how leveraged they were back then in that area.
Yeah.
You know, it's crazy. Did you know? Obviously, you bought, but like, did you think that big crash was going to happen?
I kind of felt it earlier that year.
But you still bought?
Yeah. We buy for different reasons.
That's what I think. As clients, that's the thing I try to remind everyone. It's like, it's so funny. Like how many times in your whole career people go, "What's the market doing?"
Yeah.
Like you don't care. Like I always say, like you don't care.
It wasn't
like,
an investment per se.
That's why I hate when people say real estate's an investment. 99.9% of people do not treat their home as an investment.
Yeah.
Like so, it's like I love how we push that, but it's like really like that's not why people buy.
Yeah.
Or sell.
Yeah.
Neither one, for the most part. So you bought, you saw it. So you had. What made you get that feeling?
So early 2006, because that's when I kind of started to see things a little bit iffy. I don't specifically remember what I had seen, but I do remember speaking to my loan officers that I had been working with, and I said, "Hey, you know what? You guys need to get into FHA. You guys need to learn FHA because the loan officers during 2001, if you came into the market 2001 to 2006." They didn't know FHA.
They're just doing the ninja loan.
Yeah.
Yeah, everyone just did ninja loans.
And they're like, we don't know what you're talking
about.
What
ninja loans are that people don't realize. It's like literally anyone could get a loan. You can walk in, no proof of funds, no proof of anything. Basically have a pulse, say how much you make.
Yeah.
It's almost like leasing a car, to be honest.
Yeah.
Like when I leased my first car, I was like, they're like, how much you make? I'm like, this much. And they're like, okay, let's round that up. And I'm like, okay. Do I need to show any proof? They're like, no.
Yeah.
I was like, really? And they're like, no. I was like, I'm leasing like an $80,000 car. I don't need to like show proofs of income. They're like, no. And I was like, oh, okay.
Okay.
Cool.
Works for me.
He's like, you have good credit, so we're good. I'm like, okay, cool.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So no, they didn't know FHA loans at all.
No, and they didn't want to touch FHA. They're like, no, Jennifer, we don't know what you're talking about. And I'm like, all right. And then a few months later, like I said, that's what happened. And I'm like, I told you guys to learn FHA.
Yeah. So did you go through, like you said, you became a realtor in 2010.
Mm-hmm.
Did you go through the downfall? Did you or did you
I
get
got
out
out
of
of the
loans? You got out of
business,
loans, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting. Because the hard part of what people don't realize is like when it's dead, it's dead.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's like, what do you even do?
Yeah.
Like that's the thing that's hard about. That's why I like being a realtor over a loan officer. Is like whatever the market
True.
does, you can try to find a way to
Yes.
get through it.
That is true.
You can sell, you could lease, you could do a property management.
Yes.
But when you're doing loans, if the
It's-
rate,
yeah.
that's all you got is loans. Like it's kind of hard to make an adjustment. You
The
know?
rates are
The rates are what the rates are. You can't really get around it.
exactly.
So how have you been facing the last year or so with rates jumping up so high? Obviously I think they're coming on the way back down. But like, a lot of people are saying the crash was going to happen. Do you feel the same?
No.
No.
Not. I mean, they always compare it to the 2008. I mean, they're like apples and oranges.
Mm-hmm.
It's not
I know
the
it's so
same.
crazy. Like I don't think people process what that actually was. Like I obviously was in high school and just outside of high school, so I didn't really know. I had no idea the economy crashed. Had no clue. My parents didn't lose their house, so it's like
Yeah.
I didn't know.
Yeah.
But like you go back and just look at straight numbers.
Yes.
We're like so far off. Like Riverside today was 383 houses on the market. Like the last crash was like over 5,000
Yeah.
in one day. Like I don't think people process that. Like 5,000 houses on the market versus 383.
Completely different.
Completely different. Like job losses down. Like it's just like unless like we're not even close. Like if rates jump down to 4% or 3% tomorrow, we would go right back into a housing boom. Inventory is so low still.
Yeah.
Like if rates drop tomorrow, we would start up again.
Yes.
There's nothing stopping it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just the interest rates.
It's just interest rates. That's all it is. So for you, like, what do you like mostly about real estate? Like, is it helping the clients? Is it showing the houses, the processes? What kind of keeps you going? I mean, obviously most agents don't last 3 years. So you being an agent since 2010 and, basically been an agent, in the industry, what is it about it that kind of keeps you going?
Obviously apart from helping clients.
Yeah.
But it's just more giving them the experience. And I'll be honest, when I was a loan processor, I would speak to agents and I would ask them questions and they had no clue. And I'm just like, okay, this is the largest, it could be, the majority of people, this is the largest purchase that technically they'll do in their lifetime. And you have no clue about what I'm asking you. And it's a pretty basic question.
Yeah.
And you couldn't answer it as a real estate agent, as an advocate for your client. I said, oh my God, there's a huge miss here. And that's why I'm saying, I tell my clients, I'm not a loan officer, but I understand the process.
Yeah.
And that's how I can help you.
I think that's the thing that, a lot of new agents hit me up all the time. Like, hey, what advice would you give me? And the number one thing I always tell them is like, learn real estate before you try to like build a website and build a landing campaign and hire coaches. Like actually, obviously experience, you'll learn a lot more and you're not going to be a super, but like at least know general questions.
Yes.
It is, if people knew the ability, actually I should probably like make a form that says like, ask your agent these 5 questions. If they don't know the answers, run away.
Yeah.
Actually, agent, put that down. That's gonna be a to-do list. But like, that's our next video idea. But it's the truth. Like it is, if people realize how unknowledgeable their agent was.
Yes.
Like I got a call this morning on one of our listings and the girl talking to me, I'm like, even if she writes a good offer, like I'll try to get another agent to match it because I just think she is unable to handle this process because she sounds so unknowledgeable on how to do it. That's like, why would I want to work with you? I don't think people understand that aspect of like agents want to work with competent agents.
Yes.
Because if you, the other side, if you can't control the other side or they're not doing their job, then it makes you look like an idiot. I think that's another factor that sellers don't process. Like I need to figure out how to pick the right agent to make sure this transaction goes somewhat smooth,
Yes.
So do you mind saying who you worked for as a loan officer?
Oh God, I used to work for, I don't know if you remember them, ditech.com. They used to have commercials running 24 hours a day. And so literally we had loan officers in our building. Like it was open 24 hours a day. So they could pick their shift if they wanted to work in the middle of the night, they could, and they'll be able to answer calls because we were running commercial ads on TV 24 hours a day.
Wow. Dude,
that's even totally different.
It's so crazy, like how it used to be. Like, you know, people tell me what it was like being an agent back then with like just like title and loan officers, and how it's just the wild west of like free-for-alls.
Yeah.
Like, and then we all wonder why it went bye-bye.
Yeah.
Like, it was so out of control.
Yeah.
You know, it was like everyone was drunk off money, even consumers.
Oh no, they
You know
were.
what I mean? Like, it's like you make no money and you're about to take on this loan. Like, you can't be that. I think some of them are like, hey, let's just ride this wave as long as we possibly can.
Yes, of course.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. If you had the means to do it, then why not, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I remember if you literally put a sign out in front of the house, and this was before TikTok, before any of all these different things were on, you know, that we had,
Yeah.
Or we have access to now, right? So imagine putting a property on the market, literally have to put the sign out, and that sign will trigger 20 offers on that property. And I'm just like, really? Because now in our day, right, if you did that, it's an equivalent to putting it on the MLS, and you would have 100.
Mm-hmm.
Because but yeah, I mean, you literally sold it in hours. And then not just that, once the next property comes on the market in that same neighborhood, it's now $50,000 above.
That was really hard going like early 2000 or 2020, 2021. You know, it's like trying to price things was not like, I remember things selling for like, I had houses sell for like 75 above asking.
Mm-hmm.
And like even comping those out, being aggressive on it, and then being like, oh my God, that just happened.
Yeah.
And then writing offers for buyers. Like, I remember writing so many offers the last 2 years, you know, 2021, and being like, we just got beat by $30,000. Like, we're already 50 above, and we just lost by 30.
Yeah.
Like, how is this possible? You know what I mean?
Exactly. So it kind of felt like 2001-ish, I guess, if you were in that era, but it was totally different because lending like guidelines are solid this time around compared to there.
Well, yeah, exactly.
And that's really it's a huge comparison and disparity between the two.
Yeah.
But yeah.
So for you, like, you know, what's the main goal for you in real estate? You want to own some real estate properties, or
investing?
Invest
Eventually, yeah.
Yeah, you want to buy some rental, like a duplex, an apartment building, single family homes.
Of course, multi-units.
Multi-units. So you have a family, right?
Yes.
How many kids do you have?
Two.
How old are they?
16 and 9.
Okay.
10.
16 and 10. Wow. That's a little gap you have over there. How do you handle being a mom and being in this industry? You know, I think that's a lot of things. We've done podcasts with, like, we've done like Women's Month and stuff. You know, it's, you know, obviously it's a little bit harder to be a mom. My girlfriend is an agent, and she has 3 kids. And so it's like, obviously you want to give your kids everything, but then you have to like work this fine balance. Like, how have you been able to do that over all these years?
I have support from my family.
Oh, that's good.
So that's huge. A lot of people don't have that. I think it's harder for them. And so I've had it also where, you know, nobody was available. I would take my oldest. She used to actually go to previews with me, open houses with me, and even my youngest too, when she was a baby. She would go with me. And so my clients would know them, and they wouldn't mind.
Yeah. I think that's the biggest thing is like what people don't realize for new agents. Like, there's someone that wants to work with you. You know what I mean? Like, there's and that's something I've had come terms on. Like, when you see someone you kind of know doesn't use you, you're like, what the, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But it's like every person's gonna kind of lean towards the person they want to, their style or whatever that is.
Because technically speaking too, on our end, right? We technically wouldn't want to work with everyone either.
I agree.
I
agree. Like, I think when you can actually fire a client, that is like when you know you've made it. Where you're like, you know what? This is not working out. I got better things to go do.
Yeah.
That's why I'm a terrible real estate agent when it comes to like follow up. You know, like all my coaches and all the you gotta call 14 times. Like, I'm like 4 calls. Like, I call you, you don't call me back. I'll text you. You don't text me back. I call you again, and I text you. You know what? You obviously don't want to work with me. You know what I mean? I'll go work with someone that wants to work with me, you know?
Yes.
What kind of advice would you have for a brand new agent if they were just getting in the industry right now?
You know I can waste no time, because I gotta keep it tight. I'm in my bag, got my eyes on the price. You know I can waste no time, cause I gotta keep it tight. I'm in my bag, got my eyes on the price. You know I can waste no time, cause I gotta keep it tight. Give me the bass, give me the beat. I'm in my bag, this round is on me. Give me the bass, give me the beat. I'm in my bag, this round is on me. Give me the bass, give me the beat. I'm in my bag, this round is on me. Give me the bass, give me the beat. I'm in my bag, this round is on me.
I would say get into a company that has good mentorship. Because when I first got my license, I was actually working a quote unquote 9-to-5 job, and I was doing real estate part-time. And my advantage was I was in the industry.
So you already kind of knew.
Exactly.
You have knowledge.
Yeah. I have working knowledge.
Yeah.
And so if you're brand new, I don't know if you would have that, but really in this day and age, I think a mentor would be really, really good. And when I say mentor, I think it's more what I'm thinking of is, the brokerage offers it to you more as a mentorship too, to help guide you and provide you with the knowledge that you need and the structure and the systems.
Yeah. Do you think it's mentorship / like accountability? Yeah.
Yes, exactly.
I think that's the hard part is like, if you've never worked a job that you're not forced to go to work, it is very easy not to work.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? Yeah. Like that's something I've had to learn over the years, and this is a lot of stuff we have in my coaching calls that I'm on. It's like, whoever is going to work for you isn't you. So like to think that, like I was here, this is my 10th day in a row being in the office, maybe 11th. Okay. So like to think that most people are going to come to work 11 days straight is probably unlikely. You know what I mean? And so it's like, you have to build it a certain way for them, because like most people aren't just going to do that. Yeah. You know what I mean? On your own. Because it's so much easier to like go do something else that's fun. Oh yeah. Or something you think is busy, like you think I have to go do this. Yes. I think that's another thing that a lot of agents have, not a lot, but a handful of agents have come here and I'll like, don't do it this way. And they're like, and I'm like, you can do that when you have 1 escrow. Yes. But you can't do that when you have 5. Yeah. And you're not going to get to 5 if you're wasting your time doing that. Exactly. And those are the things that a lot of people don't realize as agents. It's like, what is your job? What's not your job? What moves the needle? What doesn't move the needle? That is something that just takes a while to learn. Yeah. You know what I mean?
And to really appreciate it.
Really appreciate those things. Yeah. It's always nicer talking to people that have been around for a little bit because they've seen different windows. Brand new agents, it's like you've never seen anything else. Yeah. So you're like, oh, what do you mean? Like, it's easy to get open houses. Like, all right, go find them. You know what I mean? Go find them. You know what I mean? Or, oh, it's so easy to do this. All right, like, go do that. You know what I mean? I think it's they're the things that are harder than people realize. Yeah. It is. So, but thank you.
You're welcome.
Good job on your first podcast.
Oh, thank you.
And she shot her first video today.
Yeah.
First day in.
What else am I going to do?
What else are you going to do today? I don't know. It's so funny. She's like, can I just get back to calling? I just want to call. And like, I'm like the opposite. Like, put me in front of a camera. You want me to call people? I'm like, oh God, I don't want to call anyone today.
Oh my God.
I hate calling.
I haven't called for like at least 2 weeks.
I hate calling. Calling's the worst thing for me. I think that's the thing too, is like, there's so many different ways to do it, which that's the hard part, because there's so many different ways to do it. But it's like,
that is.
It's like, what do I, Yes. Like I'll have people like, oh, I want to do what you do. I'm like, okay, well.
You try it then.
Try it. I go, but it's just as hard as to do anything. Like shooting videos today was probably harder for you to then sit down and call people. But for me, shooting that video is a lot easier than making those calls. Yeah. Like, it's just, you know. But I think that's also the hard part, because there's so many different ways, and you got to. Yes.
You have to figure out what you like to do and what you're good at.
Mm-hmm. And then stick to it every single day. It just takes time.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It just takes time. It's like I try to like remind people of stats. It's like, if the average agent does 5 deals a year, do you really think you're going to do 25 in your first year? And, very, very few people do that. Like, I was fortunate enough to do that, but then people are like, oh, I want to do what you do. I'm like, dude, the numbers, the odds are very against you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Is. I had like no life, no kids, no responsibilities. All I did was work all day. Yes. Like, now that I have like a family, now I have to weigh options. Now it's like,
Yes.
okay, how do I have balance?
Uh-huh.
How do I make it? How do I survive longer?
Yes.
You have to have balance,
Mhm.
but in the beginning you can't.
Mhm.
It's
You
a
have to.
weird.
You have to sacrifice.
It is an interesting job, man. I tell you, I don't know what it is about this real estate job that literally is like
But we
everyone
love
thinks
it.
they can do it. It's like the one thing like everyone thinks they can do it, but then
Yes,
you get in
and
it
it's
and it's
not.
nothing
It's
like
nothing.
it looks like on TV. Nothing like it looks like on Instagram. Nothing that schooling has to do with any of it.
Yes.
Like to think like it's such that profession that like people probably think we know what they think we do, but have no clue
No,
what
they
it
don't
is.
have any
No idea.
Mm-mm.
It's insane.
Yeah.
Have you had a lot of people hit you up and be like, "Oh, I want to do what you do"?
Yeah.
Oh.
And I tell them.
Yeah.
And I help them.
Yeah.
And I try to. I mean, I point them in the right direction.
Mhm.
And nothing. I mean, it's up to them to do it. I can't do it for
Yeah.
them.
That's
But
that's the other thing I'm learning. You can never motivate someone.
Yeah.
Like
So.
that's something in the past I thought I could, and it's like you just can't.
No.
You just can never motivate someone. If they're not motivated, they're never gonna
Yeah.
be.
They think, exactly. They think it's easy. They
Mhm.
think because they own several different properties. Or
Oh, I
whatever
love
the
that.
Case may
I've sold a
be.
house before. Congrats. Literally.
And,
When did you
know,
sell that? 2020. Perfect. Great year to sell a house.
Yeah. So then I said, okay, great. Here, I'll help you.
Yeah.
and they don't do anything.
Yeah.
So
Well, why don't we leave you off on this? Adrian, you make sure you clip this for a good little how you doing. So why don't you tell people why would be a reason for people to work with you?
why would they want
Want
to
to pick
work?
you as their agent.
Oh, easy.
This is your little your little 30-second clip right here.
I truly enjoy working with my clients, and for the most part, they do become my family and friends. I know it's cliche. It sounds so cliche because everybody says the same thing, but I do have a tribe behind me, and I know that they trust me enough because they've referred their friends and family, despite my effortless to keep in touch with them. But I mean, yeah, I make them feel like they're family because they do become like my family. And I think it's part of my culture. Being Filipino, we're just like friends with everybody. We're family with everybody. And I think that's trickled into my business. And so when you work with me, you become family.
And you know what? I don't think people realize there's two really types of agents. It's the turn and burns, or it's or very relationship. And either one works. But if you want relationship, you have to work with certain people. If you want turn and burn, you have to work with another person. You know what I mean? So if you're clicking on Zillow, you're gonna probably go to a turn and burn person. If you're looking like on social and asking your friends and family, you're more or less going to be more relationship built.
Yeah.
So if you're ever looking to buy or sell, just think which one do you want to do. The moment you click on Zillow, you're just selling your information to a random agent. You don't know who they are. You don't know if they treat. If you're going to look for an agent, always ask the people that have used someone around you, because reviews are very selective.
Yeah.
We know who to ask reviews for, and we know who not to ask for reviews for.
Yes,
So,
exactly.
I'm super proud of you today.
Thank you.
I'm super proud that you've committed. We have some big goals for you,
Yes.
and we're going to have some good tasks. So
Yes.
people pay attention. Make sure you go follow her. Stay on top of her. She has to drop 2 videos a week. So if she does not drop
Yes.
2 videos a week, you send her a message. Let her know. Where's your 2
Yes,
videos?
Exactly.
Exactly.
Keep
And
me accountable.
if you want to stay inside of the family, reach out to her. I'm really excited to see, especially the loan knowledge is going to be really big to really help us with our videos, and I'm looking forward to having you on. So just another level of professionalism and expertness that will cut you down, because I think information and the biggest decision of your life is the most important thing.
Yes.
You know, it's our goal to coach you into making the right decision, not to sell you a house.
Exactly.
And that is,
Exactly.
and if your coach doesn't know what they're talking about,
That's a problem.
then that's a big problem. So make sure as you go follow her on Instagram, make sure you stay tuned for all the big things she's going to do moving forward. Until next time, guys. Peace.